अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्यशुद्धविमुक्तोऽहम् निराकारोऽहमव्ययः भूमानन्दस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्योऽहं निरवद्योऽहं निराकारोऽहमच्युतः परमानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः शुद्धचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् आत्मा रामोऽहमेव च अखण्डानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रत्यक्षचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् शान्तोऽहं प्रकृतेः परः शाश्वतानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तत्त्वातीतपरात्माहम् मध्यातीतः परशिवः मायातीतपरञ्ज्योतिः अहमेवाहमव्ययः नानारूपव्यतीतोऽहम् चिदाकारोऽहमच्युतः सुखरूपस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः मायातत्कार्यदेहादि मम नास्त्येव सर्वदा स्वप्रकाशैकरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः गुणत्रयव्यतीतोऽहम् ब्रह्मादीनां च साक्ष्यहम् अनन्तानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वगोऽस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम्
Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's invoke the power of group prayers. Oh. asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vedveshavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, the Omnipresent, together with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to the Divine Lord, who is also having the names, divine names as Naikatma and Naika Karmakrita. O Lord, we seek your grace, your blessings, your mercy, your love, your compassion, your kindness, your benevolence, your strength, your forgiveness. Please bless us with the divine qualities in much more enhanced proportion, only and only to understand thy true nature in our very own hearts, in this birth alone. We strive again and again to experience that Aparoksha Anubhuthi, the self-experience, without any aid of external factors. And this can happen only and only with your mercy. So we beseech in you to grant us this rarest of the rare privilege and bless us. Our humble most salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat.
Yat Kripa
By the grace of the Almighty and the divine blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 431 and the Aparoksha Anubhuthi number 19. On this 24th of June, (2025), स्वस्ति श्री विश्ववसु नाम संवत्सर उत्तरायण ग्रीष्म ऋतु ज्येष्ठ मास कृष्ण पक्षे भौमवासरे चतुर्दशातिथौ रोहिणी नक्षत्र शूलनाम योगे चतुष्पाद करणे. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a firm resolve, O Lord, Naham Karta, Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartham. I know by conviction, by knowledge, and by experience that there is only one and one reality, and that is the Supreme Truth. I completely believe that whatever is happening in me and around me is all happening only because of that Supreme Consciousness, Paramatma, Almighty. I pray that I stay in this knowledge forever and ever. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara once again. Om Tat Sat. Good evening once again to all of you. Please welcome. So today, my focus will be more on the correlated aspects which will make us understand what Bhagavan Shankaracharya is trying to tell us again and again. Luckily, just 2 days back, this is happening purely by the divine grace. See, whatever comes to you as knowledge, or whatever is coming to you as ignorance also, that's all happening by His grace. If we have to achieve something, He will give us the right tools from time to time and ensure that you go on to that path. That itself is a proof to show that there is that force, mighty force, the divine force which is there in our sadhana and studies. So, what Vedanta talks about Maya Shakti, illusion, appearance. So now all this has been now proven by science. So I could lay my hands on it and I started studying. It made so much sense to us. And then, since we know other parameters, we are able to correlate it. And maybe who knows, in future also we may get some more reckoning out of that. So I thought, let me share with you right away. In fact, I was able to take it in the Kannada session yesterday. But however, we fail to explain too many things in Kannada since the words are not there in Kannada. Or even if they are there, they are not understandable. So we primarily can give you the concepts, not the per se in-depth analysis. So we will study that. And then what I thought was, now that we're moving forward on our journey, where so far Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he talks about, look, how can you even consider yourself, that is, what is ourself? We know ourself as this body, this person, this personality, who has a mind, who has a status, who has some assets, liabilities, emotions, feelings, wants, likes, dislikes, all this. So we know this as a person, and you also know that you have something called as Atma within you, and you have mixed up both together. So till verse number 41, he was saying that how can you consider both one and the same? So that false understanding that the body is the self or that Atma is negated till verse number 41. Okay. See, why this process is involved is, if he straight tells you are not this person, what will happen? You will not be able to understand. If you say you are that person, not this, you are some other person, okay, you will never get it. So first he has to falsify your understanding or our understanding. So that is what he did so far. And now from 42 onwards, after we have understood that the body is a separate entity from that Atma, you understood body is separate, and what I thought was a mixture of both is no. So now he says this self, which is of course a separate entity, but is again not different from the body-mind complex, which means there cannot be two, there is only one. So in this way, he is trying to now take us to the next level. See, understand, first he said, you are Atma and body cannot be one and the same. And now he takes a U-turn and he says, how can the body be different from the Atman? Because now you have understood that you are not this person. So he comes back and he says, there is only one reality in this entire universe. And that is that Atman, it is only reflecting in different ways. So from 43 he starts. He says there is no real Bheda. Bheda means difference. Verse number 43. No Bheda, no difference. Jiva is only a mistaken perception. And there he gives the example of the snake and the rope. There is only one reality. Atman is one without a second. Ekam Advitiya Brahma. That is the consciousness. What you see as a jiva is nothing but an appearance, a delusion, and as I explained, he gave the example of where there is a snake. It is the rope and rope alone, but you by mistake, you because of bad light, you because of a poor vision, you saw it as a snake. Otherwise, there is no snake at all. So in the same way, there is one and only one supreme reality. And this jiva is nothing but an delusion. So moving on now, verse 44. In verse 44, he again comes with the same example and he says, not only the jiva, even the world, it appears only in the mind. And you have again mistaken it. You see the same universe again as a delusion and an appearance, just as that jiva. And again using the same example. So now what he had done? Jiva he says is a delusion. The world he says is a delusion, an appearance. One simple example I'll tell you. How can we suddenly, such scorching truth is there in front of me. I can see a person, I can see an object, I can see the world around. How can you say that it is an appearance? Just take the help of a dream. What was happening in the dream? Everything was appearing so real to you. But no sooner you got up, oh, you say it was all in my mind. So the same thing is bringing back over here. And then in verse 45, Upadanam prapanchasya brahmanonyatra vidyate. There is no second material. He says, now look, whatever this world is made up of, there is no other material other than the Brahman. So the world is Brahman. There is nothing else other than him. Sarvam kalvidam Brahma. Chandogya Upanishad. So he says, the substratum for the entire universe is nothing but Brahman. And nothing else. So there is a cause and there is an effect. If there has to be a pot, there has to be a cause for the pot. And what is the cause? The clay is the cause. So here he says the pot is not separate from the cause. So here the entire, your body, mind, your construct, your senses, everything are nothing other than Brahman or that Paramatma or that consciousness. See, where are we going now? Now, when such is our state of high doubtedness, you are like, where am I going? How do I understand this? Such paradoxical situation is beyond one's understanding. So here we come with, today we are going to talk about the Donald Hoffman's theory. Okay, I'll come to that. Before that, let's take one more shloka, and maybe after that I will go back to the Hoffman's theory, and then if we could do another shloka, we'll do. But I want to focus more on the other aspects which can prepare your mind to understand all this. Otherwise, it will just go over your head. You will not be able to accept it. You will not be convinced, and your whole journey will go waste. So once you understand, see, the mind needs logic. That's how we have trained our mind. Anything we want today, we want to be convinced, right? Otherwise, we take by faith. Now here we have faith. Not that we don't have faith. All this is happening because of that faith and His Krupa. With that, if we are able to get this practical knowledge, then it will be a cakewalk. Okay, so we'll take verse number 46 and then we move on to the theories. Okay, verse 46. व्याप्य व्यापकता मिथ्या सर्वम् आत्मेति शासनात् इति ज्ञाते परे तत्त्वे वेदस्या वसरः कुतः. See, he openly says here, he is now taking the help of the Shruti. Shruti are like the Supreme Court judgments. You know one more thing? By the declaration of Shruti, it says that everything is Atman. It is clear that the idea of pervading and pervaded is false. When the Supreme Reality is known thus, where is the room for differentiation? Bhedasyavasarah kutaha. Iti jnate pare tattve, meaning once you know that there is only one reality, bhedasyavasara kutaha, where there is scope for distinction or differences. Okay, this is the another level he takes us forward, and he tries to help us in understanding. He says, be very clear in what you are trying to understand. It is that you cannot say, like there is a what is the world? We say, no, Brahman has pervaded everywhere. Here he says, no, don't make that mistake. There is no question of pervasion over here. Yes, at a particular time when we had to make you understand, yes, I use that theory, because even in various scriptures, even in the Bhagavad Gita, in certain Upanishads, at some point it is said that, yes, it is pervasion theory, where you have milk and you put in honey. Okay. Now that honey pervades the entire milk, right? And then, or you have a room where you light incense sticks, agarbatti. When you light the agarbatti, what happens is there is that aroma feeling in the entire room. So which means, just like that honey, it pervaded the entire room. Entire milk. In the same way, this fragrance of that agarbatti, it pervaded the entire room. So here he says, it is not like that. Don't mistake this Brahman to be having pervaded in the entire creation. It is he and he alone. This is that big difference. Iti jnate pare tattve. Once you realize this ultimate secret, he calls this as an ultimate secret, then there is no question of Bheda, differentiation. And then he says, this defies the theory of Desha, Kala and Vastu. Desha means place. You don't have to go to a different place to understand this. Like, when will I get moksha? Maybe I have to go to Kailasa, or I have to go to Vaikuntha, or I have to go to some other loka, Brahma loka. No different place, you don't have to go. Kala, time. It is not going to happen when, say, I die, or after a few births. No, there is no time limit. Right now and here. Just like you don't have to go to any other place, it will happen wherever you are situated at the same time, right now and right here. And Vastu, object. You mean to say, now if I have to gain this Brahma Tattva, I have to become some different object. Like I die and then, my Atma goes somewhere and then only I become that. He says, you don't have to change yourself from wherever you are. The reason being is, now you know that you are none other than that. Because here he's saying, the Shrutis are saying that the whole universe is nothing but Brahman, not pervasion. See, pervasion is again, something is going into it. No, he says it is it and it alone. That's Satchitananda. Once you get this, so right here, right now, and in the way you are going to be liberated. But what is important here is, the important aspect here is that you should be established in this knowledge. That is what commitment he is saying. How well you have understood this. So Brahman pervades the universe. All these are, he refutes. There is no universe that Brahman pervades. This very universe is Brahman and Brahman alone. Because pervasion means what? There are going to be two entities. One that pervades and the other one which is pervaded. Like we have the sugar and milk. A relationship of mixing or diffusion. No. This implies duality again. Advaita. He says, no, this is only one Advaita. Just as a wave is nothing but water. Not that water pervades a wave. Not that a wooden table is pervaded by wood. No. A wooden table is nothing but wood. It is appearing differently. A wave is nothing but water, which is appearing differently. So the universe is not something in which Brahman resides or spreads. This very universe is a complete appearance of that supreme reality, Brahman. Then why don't we perceive Brahman then? Because of avidya. We are already seeing Brahman, but we fail to recognize it. Just like you see a gold, you see gold, but we call it as a ring, or we call it as a bangle. But in its true sense, what it is? It is gold and gold alone. So to help you recognize yourself as Brahman and not Mr. So-and-so, what is important is the journey is important of understanding our true self from ignorance to knowledge, which is not physical, not after death, which is not elsewhere. It is right now, right here, and you by yourself. You don't become Brahman after enlightenment. I was always Brahman, even when I thought I was not. You see a saint, and you see several others over there, worldly people, who are listening to that saint. Now, one may think, who does not have knowledge, that that godliness is so much in him. It is not the case. The amount of godliness or that Parabrahma Tattva, whatever extent it is there in the saint, in the same quantum, it is there in a drunkard who is on the street. See, this is something staggering, because that consciousness is the same. Now, what makes the drunkard and the saint different is the structure, the texture of the mind. That's the only difference. Otherwise, by essence, both are the same. So the world is not something pervaded by Brahman, but it is nothing but Brahman appearing as this world. This is what he concludes over here. Now we'll go to the Hoffman theory. Now that's going to be interesting. So we'll try to take that up. Okay? Come. So, Donald Hoffman, you will see he has written several books. You can go onto the net and search for yourself. There will be more and more information you will get. So he is a cognitive scientist and a professor at the University of California, UC, Irvine. And he is known for his illusion theory of perception. See, exactly the same words what Maya we are using, illusion theory in perception. He is specialized in perception. See, now that is what we want. Because what does the Bhagavad Gita say? When you are eating, when you are touching, ashnan, sprishan, grinnan, what is that? He is talking about all the perceptions. Whenever you are smelling, you are touching, you are eating, you are tasting, you are seeing, hearing, shrunvan, jignan, meaning in every aspect, know that consciousness is there. See, when we heard that, we studied that shloka, it was far difficult to believe. But now this theory of illusion, he is saying the interface theory of perception. And what does this theory? Challenges the conventional belief that our perception they reflect that objective reality. Objective reality means I see something, it looks yellow to me. He says, you're wrong. It's not yellow. That is that objective reality. He says, conventional belief what I had felt that an apple is red. It is not so. To you it is looking red. That is the illusion of perception. What is that? Perceiving redness, he says, is an illusion. Now I am going to take you through all the senses. And once you understand this carefully, then in every experience you will immediately get established in that consciousness. I'll tell you, this is a complete game changer if you are able to get this theory properly. So what? We do not see reality as it is, but we see a user interface which is shaped by evolution. To do what? To guide adaptive behavior and not to reveal the truth. What is its purpose? He says, this creation is in such a way, it just wants you to live, procreate, and keep the creation on. So adaptive behavior, it is not going to tell you what the truth is. Okay, now if we have to understand how this whole theory is working, so we'll go into some more technical details. Like, for example, on a computer or on a laptop, you see a blue folder, an icon. Okay. Now what does that blue folder mean to you? You think it is a file because it is showing rectangle and there is a name of that particular folder. Now you just press on that folder if you want to retrieve data. But he says no, that icon is just a symbol. Behind it there is no kind of a file or anything. It is nothing but the world of circuits and code. He's just trying to prepare us now. Don't go by the virtual meaning. Gradually you will see when I explain the processes which happen in your brain or in your body on perception, you'll get to know this. This is just an idea. So you don't need to know the reality, you just need to know the usual or useful interface. Now I have stored a particular file in a particular folder. I am not worried about the circuits and code which is happening behind the screen. I just want to, I press the folder which I have named and I want my file to be available. So he says, you need to know the useful interface. Okay, now he comes to what you see as space, time, colors, shapes, again is not reality. This is again a user interface created by evolution to help us survive, not to show us the truth. Just like the icons on a desktop. So Vedanta connection, how do you connect it here? Is Maya as the ultimate interface. So Hoffman says, we are trapped in a useful illusion designed by evolution. And what does Vedanta say? We are trapped in a cosmic illusion called Maya, designed by ignorance, avidya. So both say what? We see the body, we see the world, we see the mind is not the ultimate truth. It is just an appearance or a mere projection. Just like that icon, remember that. There is no file inside the laptop or computer or desktop. It is just an icon. So the goal is to break out of the illusion and explore the deeper structure of reality. That is what Hoffman says. Perhaps consciousness itself. He doesn't know about consciousness. He says perhaps that could be the purpose. And what does Vedanta say? The goal is to see through Maya and realize Brahman, pure, undivided consciousness. Now you know, we have seen a mongoose and a snake fighting. Many a times they say that the mongoose is playing with the snake. It could be even a cobra, okay? It plays with it. And in the process, it is fighting also. Now, while it is fighting or so-called playing, it gets bitten. Deadly, okay? That cobra bites it. And now poison has gone inside its body. What it does is, it immediately runs away from there. It goes into the forest. Before starting a fight, it has realized that I know for sure that I'm going to get stung by the snake. So it has spotted some places where a particular herb is available. Okay, it goes and immediately chews that herb. Now, one added advantage what it has is, whatever that venomous poison enters its body and which triggers the nervous system and breakdown of the brain, that by nature it has got a benefit where it is already slowed down. It has got some kind of a coating and things like that on that. Okay, so when it chews this, then it is able to easily get out of that venom, and then again it comes back with the snake and it fights. So here what I'm trying to tell you is, we should know that there is Maya. Maya is the snake is there. And I have to, what is the snake like? The world. I have to interact with the world. I have got no choice. I have to live with the people whom I am living. I have got a certain, let's say at workplace, I have got a boss or I have got clients. I have to interact with them. I have the government. I have so many people where I have to interact. So it says interact, just like the mongoose is interacting, interact with it and get stung. Stings here and there. But where you're going back again, as you go, as the mongoose goes and eats those herbs, you sit in meditation. Know that you are Brahman, the substratum. That's it. Poison gone. This is the way we have to be. Okay. So, now another easy way of understanding this is, imagine a person is wearing virtual glasses, virtual reality glasses. See, last time we discussed about the Apple Vision Pro. So these are virtual reality glasses. So once you wear them on, you'll see dinosaurs, forests, snakes, tigers all around you. You start getting scared. Immediately remove it. Then where are those dinosaurs? They were all programmed to be an illusion. Just like in a dream, it was a program. There is no tiger. Many a times you see a snake is chasing you, a tiger is chasing you, or you are running and you go to the end of the cliff and then you get up. It is all programmed. So Vedanta says the body, the mind, the world are all like that virtual reality world. When you wake up through that jnana, that self-knowledge, you see that Brahman and Brahman alone, that consciousness and consciousness alone. Once we have this power of that consciousness, it is like this mongoose going and eating the herb. Let the world sting me in whatever manner it wants, but I know where to protect myself. I just go, I close my eyes, I understand who I am, and I'm off. So your senses are that goggles built by evolution, but what's really out there might not even include time or space. Just as the VR headset, virtual reality headset, hides the real world and shows a programmed illusion, our senses and thoughts, which are there within us constantly, they hide that true self, that is that Brahman, and show us a perceived world. We were all living with this so far. Now with the Ishvara Krupa, this grace, Ishvara Anugraha Deva Pumsan Advaita Vasana. Only with that Ishvara Krupa, one gets that Advaita Vasana. Advaita Vasana is to learn about the scriptures. How many are there? There are people around you, but do everybody learn this? And even if they try to, are they going to sustain on this knowledge? You need that Ishvara Krupa, because here is now resetting your entire program. Just like he is helping you to remove those goggles. Okay. So coming back to these perceptions, it says, like for example, your phone is showing 20% charging. Okay. Now that tiny symbol on your phone, if you see, it's on the top corner. That tiny symbol doesn't tell you anything about that electrons or circuits inside. It just guides you, say, charge your phone. That's it. It's only 20%. Better charge it now. So icons are not literal truths. They are functional signals. So in that Vedantic link, this world, this Nama Rupa is nothing but an indicator. It is not the reality. As the Gita says, Nama Rupa Vyakritam. All forms are projected, not absolute. Now what does when we feeling hungry? The truth is the body needs energy to function and the mind needs to remain active. But how the system functions? The moment we feel hungry, we eat not for the sake of energy, but we eat because we are hungry. So just as the world, there's the virtual reality headset hides the real world and shows a programmed illusion, our senses and thoughts hide this Brahman and show us a perceived world. Now we come to a much deeper aspect. Okay, so here we are going to look at we'll take a perception. Okay, and we'll start studying how the perception plays in our mind, because that is the key. Now I've just given you a background till now. We have to finish in about 20 minutes and start our meditation. Okay, let's see how much whatever we can achieve. Now here I am correlating the Tesla-Nicholas theory. If you want to understand the universe in its truest sense, learn about energy, frequency and vibration. Okay, these are three things, and I could relate to what Donald Hoffman is saying. These three things are constantly happening in his theory, what he is talking. Although he has not directly spoken about this, but you will get to understand. Okay, now I'll start with the first one. Color is not in the object. The apple is not red in itself. What are you saying? I can see it blazing forth, that redness, that depth in the color also. It's so lovely red. It says, look my dear, what you see as an apple, it simply reflects light of a particular wavelength, which is 700 nanometers, and it absorbs everything else. So that reflected light, it enters your eyes. And what does it do? It triggers a signal to the brain, and your brain creates the sensation of red. So the color is not a property of the object. It is nothing but an interpretation by the mind. You got it? How do I refute this? It says for you it looks red, but to another species it looks a different color. So the color is not in the object, it is in the mind of the particular person or animal or bird or insect or worm, whatever it is. Okay, now goes to another example. The electromagnetic waves which we see in the air. Now we have FM radio stations. Okay, you have FM 91, 91.6, 92.3, then you have 93.5, 94.6, several stations you have. Now all of them, they have nothing but radio frequencies. So he says your brain is like that radio receiver, tuned into a particular station. So the waves themselves, they carry the data, but the music happens inside the radio. If you see, there are waves in the frequencies in the atmosphere, but where does the music happen finally? What does the radio do? It catches those frequencies and it emits a sound. Just like that, the light waves exist, but the experience of redness, what we see, happens in the brain. So in Advaita Vedanta, this concept, what they are talking is, which is the idea of that adhyasa, superimposition, what we call. What we perceive as color, a sound, a form is not actually there. It is projected by the mind upon Brahman, who is that formless, nameless reality. And how is he doing this? This projection is Maya, a layer of illusion over the truth. Like as Bhagavan Shankaracharya quotes, Rupam drishtam chakshusha grahitam manasa vikalpitam. See, he has said this. It's not something which suddenly out of the blue is this scientist is saying, which is not being able to correlate to our doctrines. He said the form is seen, grasped by the eye, but classified and imagined by the mind. Can you see the parallel here? Amazing parallel. What exactly the scientist is saying? The form is seen, it is grasped by the eye, but classified and imagined by the mind. So just as red is not in the object, the entire world of names and forms is not in reality, it is in the perceiving mind. Swapna drishtantena, Mandukya Upanishad say this, the world is perceived like a dream, not because it doesn't appear, but because it is not actually there, but we perceive it. This needs repetition. Mandukya Upanishad only focuses on this dream. Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Dada Guru, Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Guru and his Guru, Gaudapada Acharya. Now he says, Swapna Drishtantena, the world is perceived like a dream, not because it doesn't appear, but because it's not actually there in the way we perceive it. Where is red? Now according to science, in the brain, not in the apple. Vedanta's answer, in the mind, not in the object. Maya is there. Brain, mind, all the same. Not in the brain, it is in the brain and not in the apple. Here he says, it is in the mind, not in the object. What is red actually? Science says, light at 700 nanometers interpreted by brain. So when light moves at that particular speed, the brain is able to interpret that this is red color. And Vedanta says a superimpose of experience of that Parabrahman. That's it. So is perception true? Science says no. It's evolutionary, useful, not accurate. Very clearly it says perception is never true. It is only it helps you, like just like you see on a mobile phone, 20%. What is that 20% behind it? There are a lot of circuits behind it, but on the top of it, just to make your life easy, charge your phone. If it is going to give all those what you call the circuits and whatever data is there, as far as the charging of your phone is concerned, you'll go mad, you'll not understand anything. So it just says 20% and you put it to charge. So he says it's evolutionary, useful, but it's not accurate. But in what does it say in Vedanta? It's projection, not ultimate reality. So what is truly real then? The science says unknown, maybe not space or time at all. And here the Vedanta says Brahman beyond name, form and perception. You understanding? Okay. So now we'll come to the next one. Sound is not in the air. Now there is a speaker in your room or outside your house in the ground. There is a lovely song which is being played. You are listening to that nice music. So he says that sound is not in the air. What you are listening to is not in the air. It says the world has vibrations in the air, pressure waves. Your ears detect these vibrations and your brain constructs a sound. Now you're getting? So in space where there is no air, no sound can be heard, because in vacuum there is no sound. So though things may still vibrate. This one more corollary is giving. So whenever you listen to the music, don't think that that music is coming from that particular speaker or that particular person. Now I am talking. No sound is coming from my mouth. It is only those vibrations are coming. See now from where I am sitting, what it goes into this computer, and from computer where it goes, God only knows. But then again from your computer it comes out and your brain catches that and it gives you meaningful sounds. But otherwise, imagine what I have spoken, where I have spoken, how you are able to listen to this. So what you hear as music or as thunder or as speech is just that air vibrating. But your brain gives a terrible meaning and tone to all of this. So in Vedanta what they say, Shabda is experienced only by consciousness, senses and mind when they come together. Sound otherwise has got no independent existence. It arises and it fades like a dream. Now, hot and cold are not in the object. Now, what does science say? An object doesn't feel hot or cold. See, these are again, we are used to, hey, what are you saying? Here there is a cup of coffee and it is so hot. If I touch it, I feel that heat and I have to wait. I can't drink it because it's very hot. He says an object doesn't feel hot or cold. It only has a certain amount of molecular kinetic energy. Your nervous system interprets that energy flow as hot or cold. It doesn't have. So the same water can feel cold to one person and it can feel warm to another person, because perception from person to person is relative and not absolute. So in the same way, in Vedanta what we say, Sukha, Dukkha are just mental reactions, not inherent in the object at all. If you see, there are some patients, eternal patients, they are undergoing so much of problem. You ask them any problem, they say, yes, I have. But they are calm and quiet. Somebody who has never seen a problem with respect to his body, small thing happens to him, he starts jumping up and down. He makes the entire family run around him. So they are mental reactions. Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu. So he says, be the same in heat, cold, pleasure and pain. How? Get established. Don't get to your sensory aspects. Get established in that Parabrahma Tattva. Now, taste is not in the food. The molecules in food bind to the receptors. I'm going to take this in much more detail, because I'll try to explain the entire process, how it happens. Okay. So he says the molecules in food bind to receptors on the tongue, and the brain decodes signals into taste, whether it is sweet, sour, salty, bitter. And how do you differentiate this? With a cold or a blocked nose, food tastes bland. Even though the molecules are the same, the person next to you who doesn't have a cold, he's enjoying the food. He's saying it's so nice, so spicy, so tasty. You have a cold, you are saying you don't get taste. So sweetness is not in the sugar, it's in the experience that the mind constructs. Rasaiva saha. So the true essence is Brahman over here. All worldly rasas are nothing but reflections, not the source. So in this way, now what is being told is, these aspects have to be understood, that every experience is ultimately going to the mind, and mind which is illumined by consciousness, that is making the experience happen. So whatever is around the world of objects, it's not there. Just like the icon is there on the screen, but there is no folder over there. Inside there are circuits. So in the same way here, whatever you see outside, that is not there. So coming to this, as the taste is not in the food, it is in the experience the brain constructs. Now let's try to get a step-by-step breakdown of this, okay? When you eat, anything you eat, molecules from that food which you have tasted. Now we can understand this process very well. So those molecules, they dissolve in the saliva in your mouth, okay? And you come to, when they come in contact with your taste receptor cells on your tongue, mainly which is located on these structures known as taste buds. See, saliva and these taste buds, when they come into contact, then only you will know the taste. You have seen sometimes, some besan laddu or something, you put the whole thing in your mouth. Suddenly you will not get the taste. Unless and until there is a mix-up. It is all that powder, it's full in your mouth. You will not get the taste at all unless and until the saliva mixes with the laddu and it touches the taste buds. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so now let's move forward. These taste buds, what they have, every taste bud has got about 50 to 100 gustatory cells. Now these cells are specialized. Each cell has got its specialization to detect only one taste. Either it can only taste, tell you sweet, it is sour, it is salty, it is bitter. A taste bud which can detect sweetness, it will not tell you if it is sour. Okay. Now these molecules which bind to these specific receptors on these gustatory cells. Now what happens? They trigger electrical signals into these sensory cells. Through changes of ion channels, or they call it as second messenger systems. Like for example, sugar, it binds to a receptor, activates a G protein, and that triggers a cascade, and that changes the membrane potential, and which generates a nerve signal. Satyam, what we call is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat is the material aspect. Chit means the intelligence aspect. Here is that intelligence aspect. It is not only in humans, even in an ant also this happens. Even in an elephant it happens. In a fish it happens. In a butterfly it happens. All these are happening. So can you imagine now when we say you are Brahman, meaning what? Don't compare yourself to that yourself. Look at all these things which are there in you. My God, this is godly. So many things happening, and in a fraction you are able to get the taste. So these signals through the nerves, they go to the brain. These electrical signals, now they travel via the cranial nerves. And one more thing, the tongue is divided into three parts. The front 2/3 and the back. Okay, and then the rest of the mouth. Now I recollect, when I studied about this, I used to see, after my father and others, elders, when they used to eat their food, when they used to say that mantra and then they do the prayer for the food, then they used to take small bits of food and place them on their tongue, in the front and in the back. I said, why are you doing all this? Put everything in your mouth. See, now it shows. Meaning slowly the taste bud should get activated. It's not just immediately take one mouthful and push everything into your mouth. No. It is, they gave that much respect to the system. And it is so much correlated to the science. After reading this, I could understand why they're placing in the front of the tongue, Why they're placing at the back of their tongue? Because I have to literally see them, they have to slowly place it on the back of their tongue. So these has got those three divisions. Okay. Now these nerves carry the impulses to the gustatory cortex via the brainstem and the thalamus. Now this gustatory cortex, which is located in the insula and the frontal operculum, what they call regions of the brain, they interpret these signals as specific tastes. But it doesn't do this alone. The brain interacts not only by itself with these receptors, the taste bud receptors, it integrates with other senses, especially with the smell, which we call as olfaction. Not only smell, it interacts with the nervous system, which gives you the feeling of touch, texture, and apart from that, the temperature. So the smell, the texture, the temperature, and the taste all put together, then the brain tells you what is the taste of the food. Can you imagine what divine things are happening in your system? And then you will realize this is all godly. I have superimposed with all my negative qualities and I've become something else. Now you'll be able to accept how things are happening. So that's why they say, the food tastes dull when you have a blocked nose. Because 70% of the taste which we perceive as taste is actually smell of the food. So the taste is not in the food molecule itself. Sweetness isn't in sugar. The physical molecule sucrose, it triggers a neural element. Then the brain constructs the experience of sweetness, which is subjective and based on your past memories, expectations, and the content. So think of the tongue like a keyboard, the nerves, the wires, and the brain like the computer. So when you are pressing a key, eating sugar, it sends a signal through the wire nerves, and the computer brain decides how to interpret what you have pressed on the keyboard. So the sweetness isn't in the keyboard, it is in the software which is running your entire brain. So you're able to see this now? So all these thoughts, the taste of the vrittis, modifications, they happen in the mind, and which we call as chitta, vritti. Chitta, mind, vritti, oscillations. So this is exactly said in our, I'm correlating, because now our job is not just to talk about what Mr. Donald Hoffman has spoken. We have to correlate with Tesla, frequency, energy, vibration. So now you have seen each and every sensation, perception which is happening, it is happening within the parameter of these three things. Sound has a vibration, then your taste has got frequencies. So this way, energy, frequency, vibration is constantly operating within you. And what did Drigdrishya Viveka say? Rupam drishyam lochanam drika. Tadrishtam drishya deepti manaha. He says the form, taste, smell or sight is the drishyam, the sense organ, the tongue, the eye is the drik, the seer. The mind that becomes aware of the sense organ is itself seen. The witness consciousness, Sakshi, alone is the true seer, pure, changeless, and illumining everything. So what we call as sweetness, as this says, is not in the sugar, which is that drishyam, the object we have seen, or not even in the tongue or the brain, which is also drishyam, because they are also seen by whom? The mind, which is the consciousness. So it's merely a modification in the mind which is observed by consciousness, the true taster, which is the Sakshi. And in Bhagavad Gita again, Karanam Gunasangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. So he says, this embodied soul enjoys experiences, bhunkte, that arise from contact with food, which is, contact with Prakriti, which is matter and the food senses. So these experiences arise due to the mind's identification with the sense contacts. And there again, Mandukya Upanishad. I'm taking several segments. So, Jagaritastano Bahish Prajnaha. So he says, the waking self, Vaishvanara, he experiences the external world through all the 19 instruments which it has got. What are the 19? 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, karma, karmendriya, jnanendriya, panchaprana, and mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, 19. So this is, it is experiencing the world, and which is also beyond the waking, the dreaming and the deep sleep. It is one which is seeing all these 3 states. The Turiya, the 4th one, and it is that non-dual awareness, the real self. So even the experience of taste tied to the waking state is not absolute reality. That Turiya, the 4th state, which is beyond dream, waking and deep sleep, is untouched by whether something is sweet, bitter or tasteless. So when you taste sugar, the tongue sends that electrical signals. The mind constructs the experience called sweetness, but you, the witness consciousness, are unaffected by it. Now you know where to put yourself. What is all happening? You become a sakshi to it. You, the witness consciousness, are unaffected by it. That is where we have to go. I'm going to take up this in the next class. What is our 2-step method? First, from what we are currently, we have to go and establish ourselves in Sakshi Bhava, and from Sakshi Bhava, you're going to get established in the Paramatma Tattva, which is that pure consciousness. Just as the screen is not sweet, though it displays a sweet dish on video, the self is not affected by any experience. It simply knows. So sweetness, pain, sound, form and even thought are all appearances. They arise and they dissolve. In what? In the light of awareness, which you truly are. We have to reach there. Got it? Not get stuck with these experiences. Know if at all a happy thought comes, from where it is coming. You are a Sakshi. If a sad thought comes, from where it is coming? It is coming from this illusory world. I am an observer of all this. Just like I have observed various situations and experiences in a dream, I am going to observe the same thing over here. Because now I have got the knowledge. Clear? Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama. So we'll do the Vishnu Sahasranama, Dhanvantri Mantra, and then we'll get on to our question answer deep meditation. That will help you a lot. Subconsciously I can watch for that, so we should do it religiously. Come. So we go to Vishnu Sahasranama. Stanza number 50. Swapana swavasho vyapi naikatma naika karma krita vatsaro vatsalo vatse ratnagarbho dhaneshwaraha. Naikatma, meaning many souled. Different soul, plural of many souls. Naikatma, Lord the Infinite, though ever the One, expresses himself as the many while manifesting himself in the form of the universe. It is he, the one great consciousness, that expresses himself as the creator. sustainer, and destroyer, in order to maintain the play of the eternal dance among the phenomenal things and deeds. He who becomes the Trinity is the great Vishnu Tattva. 469, Naika Karma Krita. The one who does many actions, as he is the one Lord of all evolution, preservation, and involution of the universe, where he is not presiding over, no activity can ever take place. Exactly what we learned today. Because of his presiding within us, every activity is happening within us. The moment he decides to leave us, then you are no more. To such a divine Naikatma, Naika Karma Krita, we offer our humble salutations and seek his grace, mercy, and blessings. We read the Dhanvantari mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantare Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari. Deham Kaludharma Sadhanam. Bodies are only equipment for achieving various tasks in our life, and Lord Dhanvantari is the Lord in charge to give us good health and keep us doing what we are doing. Now we move on to the Aparoksha Anubhuthi Sadhana Dhyana. So here please relax yourself. Take a few deep breaths, as deep as you can. Inhale and exhale. Now the meditation which we're going to do is a journey in words. Relax your forehead, your face, your shoulders. Your entire upper body. In that relaxed state of mind and body, we move on for a journey within. This meditation is going to be in the form of question answer. What is the witness? The witness is that which sees all things come and go. It itself does not come and go. It is the changeless background in which all experiences arise and eventually set. The witness is not a person. It is the light in which everything is seen. It is the reflected consciousness, the Chetana Shakti, in which everything is experienced. Is the witness the same as the self? The witness is a reflection of the self in the mind. It is definitely a step towards realization, but not the ultimate step. The self is beyond the witness. The self is pure awareness beyond subject and object. Can the witness observe itself? The witness can only observe what is other than itself. Example, your eyes. To know the witness as yourself is the end of illusion. So this is the first stage which we have to reach. Awareness, consciousness is not aware of itself. It simply is. How do I become the witness? You do not become the witness because you are the witness. Just that you have forgotten, that's all. Pay attention. Observe your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your feelings, your perceptions. Watch all this as if it were happening to someone else. By doing so, slowly the false self-identification, the ahambhava, will drop naturally, just like a dried leaf. What is the value of witnessing? What do I get from it? The moment you become the witness, you break the spell of identification. You see things as they are, transient and superficial. It brings a sense of detachment, clarity, and peace. You no longer drown in experience. Now, next question comes, is awareness, that consciousness, that Chaitanya Shakti beyond the witness? Yes. So, witness is different. This so-called Chaitanya Shakti, consciousness, awareness, which are all synonyms, all these are different from witness. Because the witness is still a form of consciousness which is dualistic in nature, dependent on the mind. Now there are some more subtle aspects to this. Some advanced practitioners are not able to make a distinction over here, which I will take up as we move ahead. Now, next stage. Awareness is beyond both the witness and the witnessed. There are two things. One who is the witness, and the other one what he is witnessing. It is pure being, timeless and spaceless. This is what you are. What is the difference between consciousness and awareness? Consciousness is always conscious of something. It is partial and subject to change, whereas awareness is total, changeless, silent, and still. Awareness is not an experience, but it is the background on which all experiences appear and disappear. Just like the movie screen. What happens when even the witness disappears? Now let's say you are in the state of witness and now you have risen to the state of awareness. What happens then? Then there is only awareness, which is pure and silent. The sense of separation ends. No one remains to say, I am aware. There is no questioner. There is no question. And there is no one answering the question. That Triputi is dissolved. There is just awareness. This is the self. This is real. Can this awareness be described? No. It can only be known by becoming it. It has no attributes. You cannot see it, but without it, nothing can be seen or experienced. It is closer than the mind, closer than the inverted comma, I am. That I am, which is the aham bhava, what we are talking. This is your true nature. So one who is in the current state of a perceiver, feeler, thinker has to move to the state of becoming a witness, and then eventually from the state of being a witness, which is still associated with the mind, he has to drop the mind and move on to become that awareness, that supreme self, pure consciousness. So here the crux is, while you become a witness, there are variations in that being a witness. So slowly detaching yourself with the mind, that is the state which one has to practice. And those states I can explain, which will be of help to you. Be still in the state of awareness. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, together we offer today's Jnana Yajna at your lotus feet to seek your grace, mercy and blessings. Naham Karta, Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartam. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Good evening once again to all of you. So we'll try to learn some more interesting facts in the next session and get closer and closer to the goal. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
अहमेवाहमव्ययः अज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः